Welcome to the local sports leader in the Inland Empire, the Inland Sports Show. You can find us on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM every single Saturday at 11 a.m. plus live and amplified around the world on the Inland Sports channel on YouTube. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
This is Kenny Clark from the Green Bay Packers, and you're watching the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports is the undisputed sports leader in the IE and two-time finalist for the top TV radio show in the Inland Empire. Thanks to our big-name guests, exclusive interviews, video highlights, and of course, nobody breaks more news than Inland Sports. Hosted by Big Salty Geoff Gorham and the IE Media Personality of the Year, Pep Fernandez. Honored by the CIF Southern Section with its Champion for Character Award, the National Football Foundation, the Southern California Football Coaches Association, the Inland Empire Baseball Coaches Association, and the San Bernardino City Unified School District. We've teamed up with some outstanding companies in our community that are proud to call the IE home, and they care about local sports.
Hey, what's up, Pep? You too cool to come down here, man? Too big time now?
You can join our team too. If you're a local business or owner, shoot us an email at inlandsportshow@gmail.com. Nobody covers local sports like Inland Sports. Find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Always want to play the best teams, even in the playoffs. If we win the playoffs, I want it to be like we earned it.
Help us spread the word, and thanks for making Inland Sports the local sports leader in the Inland Empire.
I just wanted to say that I'm a nerd. And I'm here tonight to stand up for the rights of other nerds.
Release the Kraken!
Yes!
Week 2 is in the books. Technically, really week 3, but week 2 is in the books.
Why do they do that?
That's the dumbest thing in the world. Week
Like
0.
week 0.
It's not even an integer. Come on. Well, we got a really big show today here at the Inland Sports. We are minus our captain. He is the Bob Eubanks working the Stagecoach parade down in Banning. He's got a 10-gallon hat. Looks like a little Ben Cartwright. But you know, he's going to try.
I thought the principal kicked him out and we had to stand on the desk.
Captain,
my captain. I was going to do my Ethan Hawke today.
Well, you know, Pep is probably standing on a box because he's a little guy with a big hat. But yeah, Pep is not here today. But we have finished week 2. We have Norte Vista in the house. We're going to go over some scores and highlights, go over our top 8 plus 4 more.
And the home of the Braves.
The Braves are in the house. And finishing up the last segment, the voice, the heartbeat of Riverside, the great Jim Alexander.
Oh, Alexander the Great.
Yes. So, yeah, he's...
And as he watched the breath of his kingdom, Alexander wept because there were no games left to cover. But there's always a game left to cover for Jim Alexander. Always.
In fact, we're going to talk about a little bit about some high school stuff that he's covered. Kelly Tennant, who is a ex-volleyball player from Chaparral, who is now working for the Dodger Telecast and doing a great job. So maybe we can convince him to get her into studio because she will be the only person as tall as I am and better looking than me. Because it's really hard. Okay, so let's talk about our sponsors here because we can't have a show without these sponsors. Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change.
Bill Navigado.
You know, it gives you a nice mint and a flower, and you'll never be spoiled. Or you'll always be spoiled with great customer service and prices.
I'm going to suggest something to them for next year. Croissants.
Croissants
go great with oil changes for whatever
That sounds good to me.
That's right.
And then Ken Sporting Goods. Been in business for over 40 years, so if you want to get any of your Letterman's jackets, bats, balls.
Because of you guys, I told the Riverside TV people when we have our Blazers next year. Remember those old Monday Night Football Blazers?
Put Ken's on?
We're gonna get Ken's to make Riverside TV football Blazers for next year.
So visit Ken'sSportingGoods.com and Phantom House Studio. Nobody has better sports edits than Phantom House Studio. Get a great photo shoot for your athlete in your life, or maybe senior pictures, or second wedding, third wedding. You never know.
Fundraiser, swimsuit calendar. Right?
There you go. And Boost Performance Training. Athletes of all levels need to check out Boost Performance Training in Corona. Coach Ray Bass, who's coaching at Servite, and his team will bring experience, passion, and commitment to grooming better athletes. So visit boosttrainingsystems.com.
Great sponsors, by the way. You guys are great sponsors.
Good guys, great people. But we have the guy that's been sitting on the Iron Throne, I said, for 24 years.
And I'll tell you what, Coach, you're looking great. I know you've been doing the diet thing and the exercise thing. He looks like he could be in the cast of Game of Thrones.
He does. He's Viking-like.
Get him in the chainmail. Get him with the leather mask. We're all good.
That's his personal life.
He's like Tyrion Lannister's cousin over here.
Yes. Now, Coach, step up to the mic over here. You know, Coach and I work together. We're good friends. I will say this: 24 years. What the hell are you thinking?
Good question. Good question. You know, in all honesty, it's a job, but it's more than that. It's kind of a calling. And we could be at bigger schools, but I think I'm at the best school. And we're doing amazing work with kids. And the other day I had a young man who graduated, over 10 years ago, invite me over to his house because he bought his first home.
Nice.
See some real, yeah, it's really cool. And when you see success like that, we don't see it on the field. We see it 5, 10, 20 years later. And yeah, we win games, we lose games, but if we improve as people, we're successful.
Well, you definitely won a lot of games, and you've done a great job in the last several years in the River Valley League. Some of your guys have moved on just in the last couple of years. You've had such great success. In fact, the Holly train is in town today versus UCLA. You got several other guys that from last year's team that have moved on to play.
Absolutely. Stan Luna is at SLO. As a true freshman, he got to play in their opener. Unfortunately, he broke his hand in practice.
No!
So yeah, they're going to have to redshirt him, but I'm really excited about that. We have 2 gentlemen playing at Redlands. We have Solomon Sefa. He's playing D-line for him. And Hector Becerra is playing outside linebacker, which is awesome. And then we have 2 guys at RCC. Martin Solano and Eric Milicio, who ran for all those years last year. So we had a great group of kids, and we had a great group of coaches last year, and we're kind of going through some growing pains.
Yeah, you guys do play a tough schedule every year. I know that you guys play a grueling schedule, so the 0-3 mark isn't really indicative of where you guys are, because you've been in every game so far this year.
Right. You know, we've been in the lead in the fourth quarter in all 3 games. So we know we're good enough to win. We just got to put it together. We're going through growing pains. We're playing a lot of underclassmen, and they're going to make mistakes. And so will seniors, because last year we were a senior-dominated team. So with that being said, we're going to improve. And by the time Lee gets here, and we talked about this from the very start, that's what matters. You know, we are going to play really good people. And we just got to keep getting better, and I believe in that, and I believe our kids will.
Yeah, and you guys have been won or had a share of the title every year so far in the River Valley League.
Basically, yes.
Yeah, so other than that one little hiccup. Yeah. But you guys have Colony next week?
We have Colony coming up, and they're outstanding. They have one of the top-rated receivers in the state. But I already watched them a little bit on film, and they're fantastic. They're really well coached. They're fast. They're big. They're physical. They're a great football team. And we need to bring our A game. And you know what? By playing teams like Colony, it makes us ready for league. And it's never fun to lose a game, but if we can get better and improve and go out and win league games and win league, that's what we want.
Oh, nice. And who did you bring in here today to represent the Braves?
We got some fine gentlemen. We got Eric Aguilar, plays linebacker and fullback for us. We got Josh Vargas. He plays tight end and also a linebacker. And then our quarterback this year at free safety is Minran Hasim.
That's true.
And I got to give him a shout out because we didn't know he was a quarterback till, June? So he didn't start playing quarterback till June, and he's done a great job. So, really proud of these kids. They're doing a great job and working hard.
Well, great. Hey, Josh, why don't you step up here? You're a senior this year?
Yes, sir.
Now, is this your first time as being a full-time starter here with the Braves?
No, last year I played tight end. It was a pretty cool experience because it was a senior-dominated team, and they showed me the ropes on the way to the CIA championship game.
Did you also kick a little bit last year?
Yeah, I punted too, which was
That's a skill, and that always impresses me when a lineman can also kick or punt. I'm like, okay, that's a dude. Because that's the guy who's like, hey coach, what can I do? What can I do? Can I go shag the ball? Can I go bring the water? Can I go punt? And they go do the job. And every team needs a guy like that.
So basically, you and the younger Malesio are the only 2 really returners from last year's team.
Carl Wilson.
And Carl Wilson. So really, it's a virtually new team. Growing pains. The last several years playing against those great players, did that make you a better player?
Of course, every time we go against any opponent, it's always time to get better, and every game we try to learn something and learn from the experiences.
So, Coach, is this guy a good leader to the younger guys?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, Eric, step up to the mic here. Eric Aguilar.
Hello, sir.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Good, good. Are you having fun so far this year?
Yeah, it's fun.
Are you now? You are the tailback?
No.
The fullback.
Fullback.
No linebacker.
Well, nice.
He does all the work. Malesio gets all the credit.
Yeah, now how is it playing behind both of those Malesio brothers? You've obviously second year, third year playing.
That's actually my first year playing.
First year.
Yeah.
So you're a newbie.
4 years in the program.
4 years in the program though, and it's cool. It's a good experience. Malesio's a good running back, and I'm sure that every game he'll get better.
Does he take care of you since you're doing all the hard work for him?
Yeah.
Tell him to buy you lunch
He's a good
occasionally.
teammate.
All right, hey, now our big quarterback here, the first year quarterback, didn't know he was a QB. Ghizal Hasan. I know a little bit about you. Can you tell the audience a little bit about what you went through to get here in the U.S.? Yeah, we want to hear the story here. It's a great story.
I came from Iraq, from Baghdad, and it was the time of the war, everything. My dad was working with the Americans, and then, that's how we got here. And then I've been here for 8 years, and English is like my second language, so it's pretty good.
So how do you like it here in the U.S.?
It's good.
Now, do you like any other sports? Are you a soccer guy?
I used to play soccer in middle school, but, football was my sport.
I have an interesting story. So another Iraqi football player played at UCLA. His name is Adi Attar. He actually escaped Iraq in the first Gulf War back in the early 90s. His family came out to, I think they're in Glendale. He is the manager of Conor McGregor.
Nice.
So he played at UCLA, and then I think he went to grad school at Idaho State, and he got into the agent game. And so he's an Iraqi American who is now managing Conor McGregor. And if you saw that video with him and Paulie Malignaggi arguing, Ade is right in the middle of it. He was like a big special teams guy at UCLA back in the Bob Toledo era. So there's kind of a lineage of Iraqi football players in the United States, and Ghizal Hasan will add to that.
Well, Ghizal is a very popular guy on campus. And I see him walking around. Every girl likes the guy. So I mean,
it looks like he could be in a boy band, of course.
Definitely. He walks around. There's always being the quarterback. You always get the best looking girl on campus.
And I know they're good football players, so they're just kind of like chilling out because they played yesterday. They got the T-shirt. I'm sure during the week you guys are all styling. Looking like Russell Westbrook walking around the Norte Vista halls.
Yeah, they all sit at the same picnic table and they're all cool, eating their apples.
So not much has changed.
No, not much at all. So are you excited, looking forward to the River Valley League?
Yes.
Yeah? Now, a lot of growing pains, but you guys see yourself getting better and better as weeks go on, making less and less mistakes.
Yeah.
What does Coach Battdorf and the staff do to get you guys prepared every week?
Well, they push us very hard, especially conditioning and everything. We just need more practice, individual practice.
Hey, Coach, more individual practice.
Oh, hey, I guess we're going to stay longer.
Now, Coach, we'll step up to the mic again here real quick. Talking a little bit about the River Valley League, Ghizal and I have seen everybody other than, I think, Carupa Valley.
Yeah, we've seen La Sierra, we've seen Hillcrest, and we saw Ramona yesterday.
And I've seen Novi.
So it looks wide open. It looks wide open because you guys are playing up with regard to competition. That's the other thing.
Well, you know what? It all comes down to who does what. There's so many factors in a game. And, we're hoping to get our kids focused and get us, playing good football, getting to the ball, making tackles. I think in week 1 we missed 23 tackles. And it's hard to win games. One of my favorite stories is about 10 years ago we had to do silent sustained reading, and I got a book out on high school football. It was written in 1950 or 49. And it said, with the invention of the forward pass, there's 2 constants in football: tackling and blocking, and that still holds true today.
Well, you guys definitely run the child abuse offense. I call it that. I love it. It's entertaining.
I'm surprised we haven't. You see, you're a really charming guy because you say that on the air. We haven't gotten in trouble yet.
No, because they look at it and they go, it is child abuse. They're beating the heck out of those running backs.
Hey, it's all love.
It's all love. Peace and love, brother. So, your coaching tree, let's discuss this. Everywhere I go, everywhere Ghizal and I go, there's a guy on a staff that's, hey, I worked with Ken Battdorf.
Yeah, it's pretty extensive. I did it the other day, so I think you may have asked, or somebody asked me. I think there's 9 now, guys that are head coaches or have been head coaches that coached for me. In addition, I've got about 10 administrators, 1 superintendent. If you want to make it in life, you just come be an assistant at Norte Vista. But no, it's a big tribute to those guys. I've had great assistant coaches. It's made me better as a coach, made me better as a person. I've had some fantastic guys. 2 guys off last year's staff basically are head coaches now. And Mac, Pat McCarthy, fantastic guy, one of the best defensive minds I've ever worked with, probably the best. And then Rick Covington is the head coach at River Valley. And Rick is probably one of the most organized coaches I've ever been with. Just a great people person, and I'm happy for them. It hurts me because I lose guys, and that's part of our growing pains as well. Not just kids that are new, we have coaches that are new. And sometimes it's my fault because I assume things should be done, and they've been done so well for so long by great guys that I forget to tell the new guys different things.
Well, Ken, I will say this. I'm with you every day. I've been around you for years. I followed your career. I think you do a great service for the guys, all the coaching fraternity and the Inland Empire. I hope you don't coach for another 24 years at Novi, because that would put, that's half a century, buddy.
By then I'd be almost 50.
Yeah, exactly. But you guys we have your game this week on Riverside TV with Ghizal versus Colony, a homecoming game, and
it's like I'm looking at this. This is Clay Liston, because the Braves are going to shock the world. I rarely make predictions on games that I'm covering. Colony's playing some good football, but I have a feeling the cagey one, Mr. Battdorf here, I think he's got something up his sleeve.
He's wiry now. He's not huge and cagey. He's wiry and cagey.
I've lost like 46 pounds. 47 pounds.
Yeah, you look good. But I will say this: the finale of Riverside TV is going to be the big one between Hillcrest and Norte Vista.
This is what's going to happen after all this talk, and they'll struggle coming out in non-league, and they'll go 5-0 in league. Watch what happens.
It happens all the time.
We think it's going to be all crazy, and at the end of the year, it'll be Novi and Hillcrest. They'll both be playing, and they'll play for the River Valley League title, the last game of the year. It'll happen all over again.
Yep.
Well, 24-1, right? And since the River Valley League, Norte Vista 24-1 in league, right?
And John has lost a lot of weight. Brandon, and that coach at Hillcrest, he's lost a lot of weight. Maybe we'll do a 100-yard bear crawl race at halftime for a fundraiser. That'd be awesome.
I'd throw some money
the
in that
Marcellus and Keyshawn race of a race between Coach Brandon and Coach Battdorf.
Well, Coach Battdorf, thank you very much. Josh Vargas, Eric Aguilar, and Miron Hasim, thank you for coming down. And good luck to you the rest of the year, and I'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I'm really disappointed, though. Even though I've lost weight, I was promised a protein sandwich. I didn't get it.
Yeah, I was supposed to bring a cavalcade of meats, and it didn't happen. I had
the Brazilian barbecue thing?
Yeah, it's been great.
It's protein diet. It's working.
Yeah. I'll take care of you next week, though. I promise. All right.
I've heard that before.
Well, thank you again. We'll be right back with some highlights from last night's action. Thanks a lot, Novi.
Thank God, first of all. I thank the great people that I've got around me that help support me, the people that work for me. As I started, if it wasn't for the people around me, we probably wouldn't be here right now, but I've got a great staff. I've got great people that do stuff for us outside the store, and we've been very, very fortunate. Our service is impeccable, and we just keep trying to get better every year. We can do online stuff for your teams, as well as, like I said, the screen printing, the embroidery. We also have 3 women that do extra sewing for us, like tackle tool on uniforms, or the bling or rhinestones for different shirts for the ladies. That's why we have certain racks just for certain schools, and the fun about that is that it turns into other schools that may come in here that aren't as close, that we can do stuff for them as well. We've had very, very good customers throughout the years, and it's just been a blast.
We focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They just want the convenience of coming in, driving in, getting it done, and driving out. We just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. We don't push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. Vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. everything's looking pretty good. You come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? Fellas, I think we could listen to the radio.
We are back. Thank you to our sponsors, Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change, Ken Sporting Goods, and Boost Performance Training. So thank you guys for sponsoring the show. We have the great Ghizal Hasan in here.
Always great to be here, Jeff. Thank you. Love hearing your voice over the dulcet tones of Bradley Noel and Sublime.
Nice.
I gotta throw a shout to Greg because he works so hard here. I know you guys take care of him, but
the greatest sound engineer in the world.
Love it.
And the great Cullen Holt is here.
In the building.
Now you had a great game.
The finest of Carnegie High School. Yeah,
Carnegie Riverside.
Now tell us, you were Thursday night. Inland Sports was out on the road.
So yeah, Thursday night was Rubidoux and La Sierra, and then last night Pep gifted me with getting to go to the Cajon Murrieta Valley game at brand new stadium at SBVC. Really good game, lots of offensive fireworks in that one. Cajon looked really good, even though they ended up losing it by 3. Cajon, Darren Jones, 2 touchdown passes, or 2 touchdown catches in the first half, looked really good.
How about Hank Bachmeyer?
Hank Bachmeyer was, as you could expect, really good. He had a rushing touchdown and throwing the ball all over the place.
Spiker kid.
Marquise Spiker, yeah, like Brad just said, really good.
not only is Hank Bachmeyer a great quarterback, he sounds like he could be a character on either Anchorman or The Simpsons.
But you look at, I was watching the highlights last night. Have you been out to that new stadium at San Diego Valley?
I've seen it on video. I saw your guys' game a couple weeks ago with Fazio.
Well, tonight, IEMG, Pep Fernandez, Vinny Fazio, and his bow tie are going to be covering the game versus Pasadena City College at that beautiful new stadium. But it looks like something out of Logan's Run.
Oh,
so
really?
If you ever watched Logan's Run, every time when we were there last time, I was thinking Sanctuary. If you remember the movie. Sanctuary!
Yes.
But what a great place. It's futuristic, pretty cool. And I know Pep, Cullen, and Vinny Fazio will be covering the game well tonight. Now tell us about that Thursday night matchup with La Sierra and the Doe.
A thriller. Not Manila.
Yeah.
But it wasn't in Manila, but it was still a thriller.
17-0 with a minute to go in the first quarter. La Sierra did not look good. Then La Sierra comes out of nowhere. They bring it all the way back. Game-winning touchdown is actually an offensive fumble returned for a touchdown. The referees, maybe a lot of people thought that they were going to blow it dead because of forward progress, but Tyson Giles carrying the ball, he loses the football as he's carrying the pile. Another guy, Caden Dion, scoops up the ball and takes it 40 yards to the house on an offensive fumble return. That ends up being the game-winning touchdown. It was an awesome game. Go back and listen to it. The full game is on the Inland Sports YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button while you're there. Tim Hatch and I had the call.
Well, I will say this. Our Week 2 Marines Recruiting Station Riverside Athlete of the Week comes out of the Doe. Carlos Montez came up with 2 timely interceptions in the red zone during the fourth quarter of that 30-27 win against La Sierra. So congratulations to Carlos for earning the prestigious honor of being named Recruiting Station Riverside's Athlete of the Week.
And that's turning into a bit of a rivalry, too. Last year, we had La Sierra Rubidoux on Riverside TV, and it came down. It was a 21-14 game. La Sierra got stopped on fourth down in the red zone. I think they're on about the 10-yard line. They couldn't put it in. And then there was an extra, like a touchdown. The guy took it like 80-some yards on less than 2 minutes to go, less than a minute to go. And this year, it was a thriller as well. It looked like La Sierra was going to put it away, and then obviously the turnover and the fumble play late for Rubidoux. So hopefully they continue that series. It's a long way to Main Street, but I really hope those two teams continue to play because they're close in terms of proximity. It's a good deal, and also they've been playing fun games.
And Carlos Montez, not only did he have those 2 very key interceptions, he's opened up the scoring for Rubidoux with a punt return for a touchdown, I believe. And him and Tyson Giles in the Rubidoux backfield make them very dangerous on the ground.
So the Doe, after losing a tight one to
Patriot
the week before, comes back with a big win over a much improved La Sierra team. Now let's talk about our game last night, Ghizal. Fohai versus Ram High.
Fohai trying to get back to the playoffs for the first time since 2003, and I believe they may do it this year. They look pretty good. I mean, it was the Levante Cornish show yesterday. Over 200 yards. He scored 4 times, I guess. That last touchdown for Fontana. I thought Ramona played well. We saw their quarterback perhaps come of age, Brandon Osinyande, the young junior, complimenting Isaiah Baker. Just they couldn't get a stop. We went over it in the game. There were about 2 or 3 plays that really flipped that game. There was a turnover. There was an onside kick right before the half that Ramona recovered. They got inside the 10-yard line and couldn't score, and that was big. And then, of course, there was a couple of big penalties in the second half and a couple of turnovers that kind of flipped the game. But, Ramona was in the game the whole way. They just couldn't quite finish on a couple of drives. And once Fontana got the lead, they just ran the ball, ran the clock, and it was just nobody could stop Cornish.
That's true. Okay, let's go over a couple other scores here before we get to our grade 8+4, the computer rankings. We had a tough one. Centennial over Etiwanda, 73-0.
So that was a nail biter right there.
The evil empire.
This space station is fully operational.
The Sith Lords were slicing and dicing.
Matt Logan, in every interview, he should just say one line. He should just say, Coach, what happened? This battle station is fully operational. Thank you.
And it's my job.
Until the playoffs. And
then the juggernaut, who I pick as my favorite team, Heritage. If it ain't Broach, don't fix it.
Coach Broach.
They beat Corona 56-7. I know Corona's going on some hard times with those players today.
Well, they compete. The Ron Gary just got them competing.
Yeah, and they have Ramona, or they actually have Norte Vista in 2 weeks. So we're going to get a chance to see them in action. And then, of course, Vista Marietta going to 0-3 for the first time. They lost to Orange Lutheran 40-20, so kind of tough.
Tough schedule for Vista Marietta.
Yeah, I kind of was watching some of that Vista Marietta game in Orange Lutheran, and Ryan Helinski for Orange Lutheran just picked them apart. They really couldn't do anything. I mean, they have that kid, Shakir, who's pretty good. Kind of plays everywhere throughout the whole thing. But, they're a solid team, and Pep talks about it a lot. You really can't judge them because they played such good teams. They played Colquitt County in week 1, and they played Mission Viejo in week 2. So really difficult teams that they're playing. But the thing is that if they keep losing games like this, they might drop down a division with this crazy alignment. Good teams drop because they face really good schedules.
But it's a smart move. It's what Kevin Corden did with King last year. Vista, they're going to be fine in league. They will get, it's only 2 teams missed the playoffs in Division 1. I think they'll be fine. And this year, I think they were disappointed in how the season ended last year. And they'll be battle-tested going into the playoffs this year. And I know it's tough. If you're a best person, you're like, wow, 0-3, and you're losing these games. Trust me, when November comes around, you're going to look back at these games and understand that's why you guys are going to have success in November, because this team's going to be ready, having played the top of the division in September and August.
But do you think anybody can give them a run for their money in the Southwestern League?
No, I'm saying they're going to be okay in league. They'll be fine in league, but it's not about league for them. It's about playoffs.
Division 1 playoffs, yeah.
Okay, let's go over some Thursday night scores. Like I said, we had the La Sierra game on Inland Sports. Rubidoux 30, La Sierra 27. Rim of the World 12, San Bernardino 6 in OT. Sound like a barn burner there.
Yes, I want to give a shout out to West Show. I mean, they had some trouble. They lost one of their top defensive linemen in the first game. We did their first game against La Sierra. They've come back since. They got a W in their second week, and they played Rim of the World on the road. Very tough.
Rim of the World won a CIF game last year, so not a bad loss there.
So good job out there in Cardinal City.
Then Banning 78, Desert Hot Springs 40. Aquinas, I think they're the big.
You like them.
I like the big Germans. They beat Crean Lutheran 42-13. Then last night's games, we had Marietta Valley, like I said, covered 49-46 over Cajon. Upland over Rev 47-26. Kind of a surprise there. Citrus Valley over Harupa Hills 39-7. Carter loses to San Jacinto 22-6.
We're going to see San Jacinto in a couple weeks on Riverside TV, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think they're going to give Citrus Hill a pretty good run this year. Then we had Summit over San G 29-18. Pacific 42, still looking good this year. A little more of a run game than the passing game last year. They threw all the time. They win 42-6 over Indian Springs. Rancho Verde loses to Burroughs.
That's a surprise.
The Burroughs.
That was the Steinberg Bowl.
Yes.
He's coached both teams.
33-19. And then your team and your guy, Arlington High School, 15-3 over Temisco Canyon.
Rich Lunsford was born in a small town, but he's still 3-0.
He is Mr. Hoosier himself.
He's Mr. Hoosier, Mr. Indiana. Big John Cougar Mellencamp fan.
There you go, John Cougar.
And I'm not saying that to be jokey. I actually asked him, and he said he is a fan.
Yes, but he's no longer the Mellencamp. He's just John Cougar.
He got rid of the Mellencamp because he started off as Johnny Cougar.
Yeah,
you and I are old enough to remember that.
Now he's back to John Cougar. Okay, and then Hillcrest, 36-28 over Chino.
That's a good win for them.
Yes, very good.
That is a good win for John Brandon.
After that tough loss at Wheelock Stadium last week.
I mean, so they learned something. So they used that game against Notre Dame, and they went out and beat Chino. That's impressive.
Then Kaiser, Blankets, locking Yada 55-0. Chafee comes back and beats Patriot 18-14.
Patriot's been playing well this year.
They're hanging with everybody. In fact, they cracked the top 10 this year.
Yeah.
Or this past week.
Division 12, right?
Division 12. I think they were 8th or 9th. Harupa Valley goes down to defeat to Ganesha 40-7. Corona, we mentioned, loses to Heritage in a big one, 56-7. Servite over Roosevelt, 52-24.
Our very own Mason Jandro was at that game. Highlights on Sports Weekly Live last night.
I thought Roosevelt would put up a little bit of a...
Year 2 of Tommy Leach. They'll be okay.
You're playing a Division I team, though. You're playing a team in the Trinity League in Servite. You're playing some of the best teams.
I do not care about the parochial schools. All I care about is the local Roosevelt.
There's no shame in losing to a team like that.
In fairness to Bradford, not only is it Servite, I've heard Servite, this is the best team they've had in years, no?
I think it.
That's what people are saying.
And
I haven't seen them, but I've been told this is the best team Servite's had in a few
One of
years.
the Bass brothers is the coach at Servite.
Makes sense.
There you go. That's why.
Well, we only care about the Inland Empire on this show.
That's true. Santiago, which I really have a hard time saying, beat Eastlake 43-41.
It's got to come from the heart. I get it.
Yeah.
I try to emulate Pep, but I'll leave Santiago alone. I'm okay with Chaparral, though. Chaparral.
Paloma Valley 27-5 over King. And let me see, Chaparral 56 over Orange, 56-0 over Orange Vista. And Vista Marietta, like I said, loses to Orange Lutheran 40-20. And I have to say this, Linfield Christian beat up on Mary Star of the Sea 40-7.
Mary Star of the Sea, the alma mater of Fox Sports Radio national anchor David Gascon.
Is he a Mary Star of the Sea guy?
Mary Star of the Sea guy.
Okay, now let's go. I'm going to ask you guys this.
He was in school with Jamie Maggio of Turner and CBS Sports. They're buddies. They were buddies in high school, yeah.
Okay, we're going to go to our Inland Sports.
What about JW North?
JW North.
Doug Dubois.
I think they were defeated.
Did they lose?
Let me see here.
JW North 21, Coachella Valley 14.
Also, they pull ahead. They were losing early, I know that. I was looking at scores last night. Let's go over our Inland Sports Show, the Great 8 plus 4 more. Number 1, do they stay alive? Centennial.
Of course. Come on.
There's
Evil
nobody
Empire.
Number
the
2.
Sith Lord.
Number 2, Heritage.
That's probably fair.
You stay with those
That's
guys.
probably fair.
Okay, here's where it gets dicey. Roosevelt 3, Cajon 4, Marietta 5.
I say Cajon stays because that was a close game. Maybe you bump Cajon over Roosevelt.
Do you bump Marietta Valley over Cajon though?
Oh, Marietta Valley. That's right.
I think you have to.
So yeah, you have to move Marietta Valley up. You drop down Cajon 1, and then you drop down Roosevelt beneath Cajon. That's how it would work.
Then
It'd be
Rancho.
like USC, Sanford, Oregon State from a few years ago.
Then we go number 6, Rancho Verde. Do they stay at 6?
Oh, I don't even know.
How good is Burroughs this year?
Burroughs pretty good. The Burroughs up in the Ridgecrest area always has athletes.
I mean, Jeff Steinberg's my guy, so I can't sound biased. I can't be perceived as biased. So what I would do is, because they lost, you maybe notch them down to 7, but I don't penalize them too much because they'll be back.
Yes,
that's a very good team.
And rounding out the top, the last 2, number 7, Citrus Hill goes 3-0.
So they go to number 6. So we'll flip flop them with Rancho.
Power football, and they beat Santiago last week, who beat Marietta Valley. So yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it's been a goofy couple weeks.
I think it's going to be a goofy year.
I agree with you on that one. And then rounding out, number 8, Vista Marietta at 0-3.
Solely because they're a Division I team, though.
Maybe you drop them out, and then you can, because you're always going to bump them back in when they start winning, right?
Of course.
They're going to be there.
And then we had 4 on the outs here. We had Rev.
No.
Who is now 1-1.
Don't listen to the Redlands guy.
Yeah, Redlands.
I'm just saying, I know. I was watching that game yesterday. They really got beat soundly. Upland is ranked 2nd in Division II. I get that, but maybe a little bit lower for Rev.
And how about Santiago, Notre Dame, and Aquinas?
Well, Aquinas got to move up, right? I might move Aquinas into the 8.
I think
I
they
have to agree.
top 8.
I think they do. Brandon Rankin's just shattering every record for his team last week.
And I've read St. Thomas. I'm a philosophy guy, so I've read St. Thomas Aquinas. So I want them to be in the top 8.
Now, who leaves then? You have Santiago or Notre Dame. Notre Dame loses a tough one this week.
I mean, I say you keep them both. You flip flop them, right? Because you drop you can drop Vista Murrieta into the next 4 because they're going to win. They will eventually be in the 8. So you just flip flop for now. You make Aquinas 8th, and then you drop Vista Murrieta into the next 4 until they're going to start winning games soon.
Okay, now who is your biggest surprise so far this year? It's early.
My guy, Rich Lunsford, Arlington, they play a tough one against Ramona this week. And then if they win that, they'd be 4-0 going into San Jacinto. And then that becomes a very intriguing matchup if Arlington is 4-0 hosting San Jacinto at home on the 22nd of September.
I think Santiago is a pretty big surprise. That was a shocking score in week 0 against Murrieta Valley.
And who's your big surprise there, Bradford, and your ascot?
I am not too sure. I like Chaparral. They're 2-0 right now, right? They've had a couple bad years, and they're kind of picking it up here in the Southwestern League, so I'm going to go with Chaparral.
All right.
Or Chaparral.
And shout out to Faux High, by the way, too. I think David Crump's got that thing turned around, and I think they're going to surprise some people.
I agree with you there, and I agree with your pick on Arlington. Well, let's talk about every Friday night, IEMG Sports Weekly Live with Pep Fernandez, 11 p.m. to 12. He has every highlight, every score in the area, the best show there is.
The coolest thing about IEMG now is about a year and a half ago, I finally bought a smart TV. So I come home after my game, I make myself a sandwich, and boom, and there's Pep on the big screen.
Yes, it's cool. So yeah, I show up sometimes to try to give them scores. But I have little kids, and I get up in the middle of the night, so it kills me. Especially, it's just a rough night. But Pep does it. He's a workhorse. But yeah, so make sure we all tune in. IEMG Sports Weekly Live Friday night.
Listen, you have 3 go-to channels if you're interested in prep sports in Riverside. You got obviously Inland Sports right on YouTube.
Yes.
Then you got IEMG on YouTube, and then you got City Riverside for Riverside TV. You subscribe to all 3 of those, and you're in really good shape because you got all the information that you need. Like that one episode of Taxi when Ignatowski had all the TVs in his apartment.
Yes.
And he could get, the state legislature of Delaware were debating whether to be called Delawareans or Delawareites.
Well, it sounds good. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, the heartbeat, the voice of the Inland Empire, Jim Alexander will be here, and I think Pep Fernandez is going to give us a good call in here. We'll be right back.
I played once upon a time at Centennial High School. I was actually on the first ever CIF championship team back in 2000, and then my senior year we won it again. I think that's my passion because I've done it. I know exactly where these athletes are at. I know what their mindset is right now. I know how hard it is to, number one, find a performance coach who can take you to the next level. What sets us apart has to be, how we work with our athletes and what we know. We can take an athlete and help them reach their athletic potential, help them, prevent injuries, help get them stronger. I know every single athlete who steps into this gym. I know exactly where they're at, and I'm going to progress them every week. If you're not getting results, then really what's it about? We're going to deliver something that's measurable, in terms of speed, power, strength, agility.
We are back. Greg playing some John Cougar for us.
Rich Lunsford, you are thought of highly on the Inland Sports Show.
Well, hey, just to remind everybody to stop by Quick Quality Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change for all of your car needs. Get a nice mint, a nice flour.
One word for Bill Navigado: croissants. I'm telling you, it's going to work.
Change it to croissants.
No, just add it. Add it as an option. It'll be huge, big league.
And then you have Ken's Sporting Goods for all of your sporting goods needs. And
is that where Inland Sports gets their shirts done?
Yes, they do. And then, of course, Boost Training with the Bass Brothers. They will train anybody. Even you, Ghizal, can be a 100-meter sprinter.
That's where Cullen and Bradford go, and they look good. So.
Well, hey, before we get to Jim
facade.
Alexander, we have Pep Fernandez and his 10-gallon hat on the air, or on the phone here.
I'm confused now. You got Ramey up in Reno. You got Pep wearing the 10-gallon hat. Everybody I know is becoming a cowboy.
Pep, are you there?
You guys aren't making fun of me, are you?
No, hey, little Joe, we would never do that.
Little Joe?
Yeah, Bonanza.
Michael Landon.
I'm a cowpoke now, huh?
Yes. Now, how was the parade out there?
Jeff is Lauren Green.
The Green.
Oh, you know what? Guys, it was so much fun, man. There were so many cool floats, so many cool people. We had, the rodeo queen. We had the Banning high school football team who took out that big 78-40 win at Desert Hot Springs. The Broncos was 2-1 to start the season. It was wonderful, man. It was such a good time. And I got to wear a cowboy hat. There you go.
Yeah, anybody that's listening right now, go to the Twitter page of Sports with Pep and look at that 10-gallon hat. It's a nice look.
Hey, the Western shirt was mine. I'll own that. That was mine.
How about the boots? Is he wearing the boots?
Now, he has no boots. He's wearing tennis shoes probably. But it would have been nice if he had a bolo tie. No bolo?
It's Bruce Springsteen Tunnel of Love style.
Yeah, exactly. So, Pep, we're gonna see you next week, I hope. Unless you're...
In fact, quick plug, so myself and Vinny Fazio will have the call tonight at San Valley College. Take on Pasadena City. You can watch that game live on IET TV. That's a 6 o'clock kickoff in that beautiful new stadium in Valley.
Is he going to be wearing a bow tie? Do we know that?
No. Will Vinny be wearing a bow tie?
Yes.
When you did last week, it was like 120 degrees. So if you
The-
go on the bow tie last week, I'm pretty sure he's going to follow up with something special.
Yeah, if he's listening, I hope he wears a carnation and a bow tie.
The Bob Backlund of high school football, Vinny Fazio.
Bob Backlund. Well, thanks, Pep. In fact, we were going to talk a little bit about our Disneyland trip. Our children intertwined and have become friends. I think we could be in-laws someday.
You know what? It was kind of weird having worlds collide like that. You know what I mean?
All I know is that my son seemed a little shy around your daughter, but there could be some sparks. Just look at it this way. We could be related someday.
I might be related to you.
Christmas will be Christmas at the Gorhams, but you got to wear matching PJs with footies.
Hey, you better just wear clothes. How about FaceTime me on the phone? You're not wearing a shirt.
Well, it's because I have great pecs. Anytime I can show my pecs on FaceTime, I'm in it. Well, Pep, thank you very much. Have fun driving back from Banning. Pick up some cherries. There's cherries out there. The Cherry Festival or...
Look, blueberries too, right?
Yeah, apples. A cherry festival out here in like Beaumont, Banning Path area. Yeah.
Well, make sure you bring back something, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
All right, guys. Thanks for holding down the fort. I appreciate it. You guys sound great.
All right, thanks, buddy. Have a good one.
Adios.
Hardest
There he
working
is.
man in show business.
The hardest, he's everywhere. He was at a water polo match in San Bernardino earlier this week, and it was raining on him.
You already have a stepbrother, and now you may have a stepbrother-in-law. How cool would that be?
God, that would be really awesome. I could just show up at his house unannounced. But enough of Pep. Let's get to the heartbeat and the soul of Riverside, the great Jim Alexander. Thank you for coming in today, Jim.
Yeah. We're supposed to undersell, not oversell.
Detroit has Mitch Albom. Boston has Bob Ryan. Riverside has Jim Alexander. Class of '83 from Notre Dame High School. No, I'm kidding.
No, 72.
72?
Why do you have to correct me?
We're helping you out there, Jim.
I know you're trying to make me look younger. And
You're
sound
30. You're
younger.
39, like Jack Benny.
I wish.
Now, how long have you been at the Press Enterprise?
45 years.
That's my-
September of 1972.
Holy cow. I'm 45. That tells you something right there. So you've been around.
He's been writing as long as you've been alive.
That's pretty awesome. Now, the Press
I'm not gonna say anything.
the Press Enterprise has gone through so many changes, but you've been and remained
stalwart.
The stalwart. The constant.
Talk about the Iron Throne.
Yes.
I'm the survivor.
You are the survivor.
I'm the survivor. I've been fooling him for 45 years. So
Well,
hopefully I can fool him for a few years
Tom
more.
Candiotti over here.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks for
I
coming
haven't
in.
thrown any knuckleballs lately. I got to work on that.
Now, lately you've written some great articles. You always do, but one in particular that kind of stood out to me was the Rob Wygott interview with the commissioner of the CIF. And what did you take away from that meeting with him?
Well, I mean, it's most of the stuff that we talked about are stuff that it's fairly obvious things that are concerns in high school sports. I mean, the transfer situation, the parental involvement, and using LeVar Ball as an example. That's kind of the way I started the column, but that's sort of the most extreme example of things that go on a lot throughout high school sports. Parents, and I wish Battdorf were still here because I would like to get his take on that. The idea that if you're a coach, and you can probably speak to this too. If you're a coach, all of a sudden you've got your posse, you've got your retinue, you've got all these people that are trying to tell you how to coach your team, or trying to tell you who you're not playing my kid because you're playing favorites or what have you. And to me, as sort of looking semi on the outside, that's kind of the biggest issue you have with high school sports, is that it's not about the kids anymore so much.
No, it's the helicopter parents, and I will say this. When I coach, I have a rule, and a lot of people don't like it, but I don't allow any parents into my practices. And the reason being, I don't go to their job and say, hey, I'm looking over your shoulder while you're typing in a computer and telling you how to do your job. If I do have a parent show up, I usually have that player go stand right next to Mr. or Mrs. Johnny Boy and say, hey, why is little Johnny not playing? Well, little Johnny's not playing because...
And I think that's the way to do it. And to me, I understand, listen, there's a lot you can't control. But I do believe the LeVar Ball thing kind of jumped out at me in the sense that, I heard college coaches and people, listen, if you're a college coach or you're a pro coach and you can't handle LeVar Ball, you got a problem. It's not, remember Glenn Ross, the leads are weak. No, the leads aren't weak, you're weak. Exactly. And that's what it makes me. And the thing is about LeVar Ball, because we've all covered high school sports, so we know he's not an atypical parent. Just happens that his kids are actually talented.
Yes.
Because we've all dealt with parents who are just like LeVar Ball, and their kids aren't nearly as talented as the Ball brothers are. And that, to me, is where the problem goes. I look at it. I saw LeVar Ball for about 10 minutes on ESPN Nation. And I said, all right, I get it. I understand what this guy's doing.
He's selling.
This guy, exactly. He's selling, but he kind of gets the joke. And I think a lot of people get angry, like, oh, what is this guy doing? Trust me. This guy if he went on the WWE, he knows what it's all about. The funny thing is, you talk about how the parents are a reflection of the kids are a reflection of the parents. I covered Lonzo last year for a couple games. He came and played. They went and CSUN played UCLA. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's a great team. Everybody says he's a great teammate. He's really coachable, and he's great with the media.
And he's quiet too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not flamboyant. His game's flamboyant, but he isn't.
Now, what do you think about the youngest son getting his own shoe?
That's kind of how my conversation with the commissioner started, and it's sort of bizarre, and it sounds like LeVar is pushing the envelope and maybe preparing for a fight with the NCAA at some point. His idea being, I don't care about your rules. I don't think your rules matter. I don't think your rules are fair. So we're going to do what we're going to do. Try and stop us.
And be ineligible possibly by the NCAA. Would that force then for him to be able to go in as a true?
I love his answer.
Or play in Europe for a year.
They said, or the G League, now not the D League anymore. Somebody asked him about it. He's like, hey, if he's ineligible, he's ineligible. I don't make those rules. I'm just taking care of my family in this way, whether you agree with it or not. And the kid's got a shoe deal. I have a feeling it'll all get worked out because it tends to get worked out. Because he's a high-profile guy.
But I can see it now, going to the G League after he graduates and playing his first year with the Hot Water Clippers of Ontario.
That's right.
We're going to have a lot of Aliente jokes, baby.
Are they going to play at the Citizens Bank Arena?
Yes, they are.
Ontario.
Yes, they are.
Oh,
Jim's dream come true. Jim has wanted a team in that arena since I've met him in 2009, and you got it now, baby.
Got it now.
They better invite you for the first game.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
You've been politicking for this.
I will make sure.
Since the first Bush administration, the second Bush administration.
Now you got that, and you've got the Rain, who's. In fact, I was at the Kings rookie camp yesterday to kind of get a line on some of the guys that might be playing in the AHL for Ontario this year. So we'll see what happens there.
Nice. And speaking of arenas, you've been around for as long as anybody. you're a fossil here in Riverside.
Thanks.
That's
the wrong thing to say, buddy.
But what do you think about this? What do you think about Cal Baptist going into the fray here with that beautiful new arena?
It's a game changer. It really is. I mean, I was out there the day that they dedicated it, and they took us on a tour, and most of the back of the house stuff wasn't finished yet. But I mean, just looking at the arena itself and the way they've got it set up, and from once you get on the floor, it's massive. And I remember looking at that and thinking, this is the best thing that has ever happened to this town, and it's going to be a game changer, and it's going to just it's going to turn topsy-turvy the whole relationship, rivalry, whatever you would call it, between Cal Baptist and UCR, because there is going to be a rivalry at some point. They're going to be equals, and Cal Baptist has fired several of the first shots.
They have, definitely.
I'm waiting to see if UCR responds in any way.
Yeah, I really hope they do. I mean, it would be nice to have two really powerful programs in the Inland Empire, because there's so many good basketball players, baseball players. I mean, Ghizal, you cover UCR baseball, and
I was just in the office yesterday, as a matter of fact.
and you look at what Cal Baptist has done. They brought over Gary Adcock, who's just been phenomenal.
He was assistant with Doug Smith at UCR.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's a lot of good things going on in Riverside, but I do agree with you. I think it is the coolest thing that's happened to Riverside.
And it's going to put pressure on UCR, and recognizing that these are two dramatically different institutions. Cal Baptist is a private institution, it's a Christian institution, and it's a setup where if the college president, Ronald Ellis, wants it to happen, it's going to happen. At UCR, you've got 9 layers of paperwork and red tape that you got to go through. So it's not as easy to get anything done out there.
That's true. And I want to mention something that I liked one of your last articles about Kelly Tennant. Is that her name? The Dodger broadcaster with the Inland Empire ties. What's
Temecula Chaparral volleyball.
And he went to USC. It was an interesting article. Could have gone to Stanford, but realized she wanted to be in media and instead chose USC over Stanford. How about that? If Connor Gorham made that call, Coach Gorham would be very upset. You want your kid to go to Stanford.
Exactly. Well, Jim, we're running short on time here. We'd love to have you back, and I just want to say, I think from everybody here, we enjoy everything you do. You're the best writer we've ever had.
Troy Percival's a huge fan. I'll point that out.
And I look forward to any time I can get on Twitter, Facebook, when I see a Jim Alexander story. I get warm. I get, this is the best thing in the world, and I love it. So thank you from the whole community for my 45 years being here and your 45 years to the Press Enterprise. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for the compliments, and just keep reading, everybody.
Well, that will kind of put a bow on week 2 or week 3 of high school football and the Inland Sports Show. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change. You'll be spoiled by their excellence, customer service, and great prices. Check them out off of Alessandra Boulevard. Ken Sporting Goods. Ken Sporting Goods, more than 40 years in the Inland Empire, taking care of all your sports gear needs, plus Letterman jackets. Check out kensportinggoods.com. And Phantom House Studio. Nobody has better sports edits than Phantom House Studio. Get a great photo shoot for the athlete in your life, or maybe senior pictures. PhantomHouse.com for more details. And finally, Boost Performance Training. Athletes of all levels need to check out Boost Performance Training in Corona. Coach Ray Bass and his team bring excellent experience, passion, and commitment to grooming great athletes. Check out boosttrainingsystems.com. Well, that'll do it. Thank you, Ghizal Hasan. See you next week on the call. Thank you, everyone else, and thank you especially to Jim Alexander, the great one. We'll see you next week.